What's up, Traders Edge? It's Mark Sebastian, your only option. Today, I'm going to break down what happened in the markets. We're going to preview Google and Tesla earnings. We're going to talk about the VIX, and we'll take a quick look at that one stock I am watching closely. So with that, let's dig in. Traders, so it was kind of an interesting one for the S&P and markets as a whole. The S&P managed to close up $4 after being down as much as about 20. It was a pretty inside day. The Dow was up 0.4%. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq was down over 0.5%. We're going to look into that in 1 second. Now, our big winner on the day was the IWM, the Russell 2000, up 0.83%. I continue to today was a day where we definitely saw money coming off chips and some of the leaders and into some of the laggards. So let's look who kind of had a rough day, and it was some surprising ones. Nvidia was down over $4. At its low, it was down over $6. Broadcom had a pretty darn rough day, down $10. We get a little lower toward that 21-day moving average. That's going to be a really interesting entry point. AMD continues to look like it's trying to roll over. Now, it was a lot lower on the lows of the day, closed right at where the gap open was on the 15th. So watch to see if we open back in that range on Wednesday. Other stocks that did not have such a great day, Goldman, another one that's been really strong. It was off. Meta was down about $8. Microsoft was down as well. So really, out of your major stocks, Amazon down. The only one of the Mag 7 stocks, of course, was the worst performer of the group so far, and that is Apple. And then we saw a little bit of bullishness in Tesla. Nothing crazy, a little bit there. And Google ended the day higher. So you had 3 out of 7, 3 out of 8, really. Broadcom, I call it the grade 8, not the Mag 7. Broadcom belongs in that conversation. It's actually worth more than Tesla. And so you had 3 of those 8 up, but really a rough day for a lot of those names. Now, who was looking good? Oil and gas. XLE closed the day higher. XOP closed the day significantly higher. I'm liking that to move higher. Industrials looked good. Consumer staples. It was a safety trade, but again, notably, IWM, after getting this nice little rally, it's channeling and I believe getting ready for a breakout. I continue to look for, an eventual move toward 240, 245. I think there's about 10% more upside. All right, we've got 2 huge earnings coming up on Wednesday. The first is Google. Google is currently worth about $2.3 trillion. Looking at the earnings analysis here, the normal move they price in is about 4.3%. They're pricing in 5.5%. So they're looking for a bigger than normal move. Now, that's less than it has been priced in over the last few quarters. It's been over 6 the last few. You can see sometimes it moves less, sometimes it moves more. Generally speaking, outside of on the rallies, it has tended to move a little bit less. Outside of May of 2024, on the sell-offs, it's moved a little bit more. So what I would say is if it's down on Thursday morning, there may be an opportunity for some continuation there. Tesla has a lot to talk about. We got robo-taxis. We got the Cybertruck. We got you name it. They're pricing in a 6.3% move. That's less than the implied move. Now, I'm looking for the last time that the move was priced this inexpensively. And you got to go back to October of 2023. And at that point, it actually moved twice that. And in fact, it's paid to own premium in Tesla for the most part since 2022 at a minimum. And it can move more up or down. So this is an interesting little straddle play, one that I may play around with for next year. Now, I continue to like the market higher. You look at VIX, that futures term structure looks beautiful. We have a huge spread. What is the future spread versus the cash? Well, I think they're pricing in some earnings that are coming up that maybe VIX itself isn't seen in the S&P. So I think they're looking at earnings and the tariff deadline on August 1st. Those are the two things that are maybe keeping VIX futures a little bit higher. I like VIX futures as a short. So let's talk about the one stock that I am watching extremely closely. And folks, that stock is going to be Reddit. Now, Reddit opened up big, then fell down. Earnings are next week. I have earnings analysis set. They're pricing at about a 14% move. You can see it's only had one earnings where it really moved more than this straddle. But with how earnings have gone the last couple of quarters, I think that there's a real chance that you get kind of another outsized move here. So with Reddit, I am actually looking for a bigger than expected move. Right now, we're talking a little over $23. That's a huge move, but I think it's going to end up moving more than that. Now, Reddit is just one of the kind of AI usernames that I think is going to be a big beneficiary of this AI explosion. If you have not signed up for Turbo Trades or joined Hans Albrecht in Turbo Income, he is doing a special Make Your First Turbo Trade class today. You've got this. So this is your last chance to join at our offer price. Get his market temperature indicator that you can put on your own charts for free and get access to this class. So if you'd like to join, click the link at this email. Now, if you're watching me on YouTube, please like and subscribe, leave a question or comment, and I will answer. All right, everybody, I'll be back with more kind of a post earnings analysis for Google and Tesla on tomorrow's vid. I'm Mark Sebastian. I am your only option. Have a good one.